scare me. More specifically, old white women. I'm not racist, okay? I don't know what it is. They just look evil. And I know it's not all of them, but if you ever stared at an old white lady long enough, you're bound to feel a little uneasy.
Hello.
I think it's the scary movies that did it for me. Or maybe it's all my ancestral memories from all the years of slavery. Whoa, let's reel it in, buddy. My bad. It's the scary movies for sure. It's always the old white women that age like spoiled milk that are in all the pop-up scenes. The old guys are pretty scary too, but only to a certain extent.
What the heck?
Because boy, I'll knock your old ass right at your sketch and stop playing with me. But the old women seem like they're just a little bit sturdier. Like they'll just eat that shit, pop a couple bones back into place, and spar and kick me in the chest or some shit. Like for example, the Queen, rest in peace, but she looked scary as hell. That's why people thought she ate babies and shit. Go! Look at her. If you and her were alone and she gave you a cup of tea, you would throw that shit out and get the fuck out of there on some get out shit, because she'll put your ass into the sunken place. Wait, why do we even have a royal family anyway? How do they make their money? Selling baby blood? I don't know, maybe. The real sad part is, I'm gonna be old one day too. But the good news is, old black men aren't scary. They're just perverts.
Yeah, boy.
You know, I'll just have to fall into my place into society and comment on twerking videos on Facebook. The only white woman that had my heart was Betty White. Now, she was goated. Any Betty White slander will be considered an act of violence. And there's only one way to meet violence. With even more violence, an eye for an eye, baby. A tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. Betty White slander for the end of your bloodline. Speaking of bloodlines, I recently had a mental breakdown because of my crippling fear of growing old. And I was thinking to myself, which race ages the best? Because you know, you want your wife to age nice, you know what I'm saying? I landed between black and Asian. And I bet you guys thought I was going somewhere with this, but I plan on being rich. And when you're rich as fuck, none of that shit matters. Because you just marry a girl that's 15 years younger than you. You can't go further than 15 because you start feeling a little weird.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake.
Not too weird though, because life is about coexistence. And I'm with her because she's beautiful. And she's with me because I'm rich. You can't tell me any different. She not gonna love my wrinkly old ass.
It's true.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles. James Howard Marshall II. You know this nigga rich because he got Roman numerals in his name. But look at his bitch. How does this end up with that? The answer is quite simply easily to understand. She's with this nigga because he's a fucking billionaire. Bruh, this man literally died only 13 months after he married her. This bitch is a top G. She's got to be the biggest baller I know. Gotta respect it. You're telling me you wouldn't shack up with this nigga, tickle his sack for 13 months to become a billionaire?
Well, I'm not gay, so a relationship with the Sith Lord, I'll pass. But let me switch the genders. I'll thrax the fuck out of some dry sandpaper pencil sharpener ass box for $1 billion. Depending on the night, I'll do it for free.
What did he just say?
So the physical shit. But if I'm living with her, I don't know, because you really roll the dice when you talk about living with an old white woman, because they can only be one of two things. Either the nicest, most caring people to ever grace your presence, or the most entitled, ignorant human beings to ever exist.
That should die, yeah.
Or dead, they could be that too, but there's no in between with them. There are no NPC old white women. Keep it a buck, if I say NPC to some of them, they'll probably think I mean no people of color. Like the fact that Betty White and a Karen are in the same demographic of people is crazy to me. But for $1 billion, I'm gonna have to number 2 pencil my way to some paper, I ain't gonna lie.
An old rich man and a young beautiful girl is like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. The old guy's the peanut butter, doesn't need much attention, moves pretty slow, and mixes pretty well with a lot of things. The girl, she's like the jelly, sweet, lively, and only comes out of the fridge when there's bread involved.
It does matter.